For over 30 years, he built a rock-solid career in Austrian and German stage and screen, without a single person in Hollywood knowing his name. Quentin Tarantino didn't just hand him an Oscar, he completely reimagined the man's entire professional existence. But how did a 50-something unknown charm a visionary into betting the farm on him? We are about to uncover that mystery right now. Christoph Waltz entered the world on October 4th, 1956, in Vienna, born into a family with deep roots in show business. His father, Johannes Waltz, worked as a stage director, while his mother, Elisabeth Urbanzig, was a highly regarded costume designer. The dramatic arts were essentially woven into his DNA from day one. He grew up surrounded by daily family debates regarding performance, direction, and theatrical craft. Even as a young boy, he was immersed in European stage classics, cultivating a refined grasp of drama that would later define his acting style. His academic path was just as stellar. He attended the elite Max Reinhardt seminar in Vienna, one of the top drama schools in Europe, mastering classical techniques in speech and stage presence. His training was grueling and exhaustive, covering everything from Shakespearean tragedies to modern plays. By the late 1970s, Christoph had launched his professional journey. For 3 decades, he remained a staple of German-language stage and television, gaining massive experience, yet zero global recognition. He was a local legend, but a ghost everywhere else. He landed roles in popular hits like Inspector Rex, a famous Austrian police procedural, where he would occasionally pop up as a guest star. He also performed in high-end theatre productions across Vienna and Berlin, earning a stellar name as a brilliant, multifaceted talent within German cultural circles. His film work stayed mostly local. While Austrian films gave him plenty of screen time, none reached a global audience. Yet, during these quiet years, Christoph honed the exact skills that would eventually blow Tarantino away. He mastered meticulous preparation, deep psychological insight, and the uncanny ability to find hidden layers in every single role. His peers held him in the highest regard for his sheer professionalism and range. He also stood out because of his incredible command of several different languages. Beyond his native German, he spoke English, French, and Italian with absolute fluency. By the early 2000s, after 20 years of local success, he felt a pull towards something much bigger. He knew in his gut that he had the chops for global cinema, but those doors rarely opened for middle-aged actors from Austria. The European film scene had its glass ceilings, and Hollywood felt like a distant, unreachable planet for someone with his background. Still, Christoph never gave up or stopped sharpening his skills, clinging to the same artistic discipline and wonder he possessed as a young student. It was during this period of soul-searching that his agent handed him a quirky script from an American filmmaker famous for high-octane, stylized violence. That project was Inglourious Basterds, and his audition for Tarantino became the stuff of legends, flipping his entire world upside down forever. Not only did Christoph crush the complex, multi-language dialogue, but he brought a terrifyingly brilliant energy that shocked the notoriously picky director. His Hanslander was a mix of charming and horrific, cultured yet brutal, and polite yet predatory. For the first time, he funneled decades of mastery into a globally distributed blockbuster. The trophies and accolades started pouring in almost instantly. Christoph swept the Cannes Jury Prize, the Golden Globe, the BAFTA, the SAG Award, and finally, the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. At 53 years old, following a lifetime of working in the shadows, he became a household name across the planet practically overnight. His acceptance speech was raw and thoughtful, as he thanked Tarantino while acknowledging the long years of quiet labor that led to that peak moment. This wasn't some lucky break. It was the ultimate payoff for a life dedicated to a craft, despite the public's perception of him as a sudden sensation. Once the Oscar was in his hand, Hollywood offers came screaming in, but Christoph used his age and wisdom to be incredibly picky and tactical about his next move. He refused to be pigeonholed as the industry's go-to Nazi villain, choosing instead to build a varied career that protected his artistic soul. In 2012, Tarantino called him back for Django Unchained, casting him as Dr. King Schultz, a sophisticated bounty hunter who mentors the lead character. This character was the polar opposite of Hans Landa. He was moral instead of corrupt, lovable instead of vile, and heroic instead of villainous, yet just as mesmerizing. His portrayal of Dr. Schultz was another masterclass that proved his unbelievable range. Christoph created a man who was both scholarly and deadly, a gentleman, yet a cold-blooded killer. His on-screen dynamic with Jamie Foxx was pure magic, and his character's journey provided the true emotional core of the entire story. Django Unchained exploded at the box office, raking in over $425 million and cementing Tarantino's legacy as a generational titan. Once again, critics and fans alike went wild for Christoph's performance. He secured his second Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, joining a tiny group of legends who won twice with the same director. With 2 Oscars in just 3 years, Christoph had firmly planted his flag as one of the most respected and powerful forces in modern Hollywood. Instead of playing it safe with similar roles, he kept pushing his limits by jumping into wildly different and artistically daring ventures. In 2014, he starred in Tim Burton's Big Eyes, playing Walter Keane, a manipulative husband who stole credit for his wife's artistic genius. It was a grounded, dramatic turn that looked nothing like his Tarantino work, proving he could excel far beyond stylized, violent characters. He then joined the James Bond universe in Spectre, taking on the iconic role of Blofeld, one of the most legendary villains in cinematic history. While the film itself got a lukewarm reception, his take on the classic baddie was praised for adding fresh layers and class to a potentially flat character. He even ventured into surreal comedy with Terry Gilliam's The Zero Theorem in 2013, showing he could handle weird, experimental stuff just as well as intense psychological dramas. His talent for shifting his style to fit directors as unique as Tarantino, Burton, and Gilliam proved he had a truly rare level of versatility. Lately, Christoph has been smart about balancing massive commercial blockbusters with deeply personal, independent passion projects. His turn in Alita: Battle Angel in 2019 saw him dive into big-budget sci-fi, while Georgetown in 2019, which he also directed, let him flex his creative muscles behind the camera. Taking the director's chair for Georgetown was a huge milestone, proving his decades of stage work and acting expertise had perfectly prepared him to finally call the shots. This film, rooted in disturbing true events, showcased his mastery of directing talent and crafting complex, dramatic atmospheres. Now 67, Christoph Waltz stands as one of the most compelling examples of a Hollywood late bloomer. His journey proves that raw skill, when paired with grit and the right break, can peak at any age. Fellow performers can learn a great deal from how he navigated his professional path. Instead of chasing easy money or safe blockbusters, he keeps pushing his creative limits. By picking passion projects and working with visionary filmmakers, he stays true to the artistic standards he built throughout his years on the European stage. Waltz's rise offers a masterclass on what it actually takes to make it in the world of show business. His journey reveals a core truth. He didn't just appear out of nowhere in 2009. He spent decades refining his skills for that defining moment, constantly sharpening his skills, broadening his range, and deepening his craft. It serves as a reminder to stay persistent and keep working on your goals, no matter how old you are. Does his story of lifelong dedication finally paying off inspire you? Which of his performances stands out to you most?